laugh like hell. Let's have some fun doing it. That's a big part of it. But let's just don't waste any time or energy. It's all about winning. Please reflect that each and every day.
It's time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star in Frisco, joined by Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy inside Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. It's the Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings after the bye week last week. And Coach, first off, I just want to ask you, getting the players back in here the first of the week on Monday, you notice an extra bounce in their step that maybe a little refreshed after having a week off?
Oh, definitely. I think the week off was excellent for the football team. I know that the players enjoyed it. So I've always found that the bye week is so important. And frankly, when the schedule comes out each and every year, that's probably one of the first things I look at because you're always trying to chart, the different thresholds in every regular season. So, 9 straight weeks of football, especially in the climate that we've been operating in, it's been a rough road. So I think our players really benefited from the time away.
And there's a great opportunity that lies ahead for this team, even with the 2-7 record, starting with this game against the Vikings, who have gotten on a little bit of a roll here, having won 3 straight games. And I guess on paper, when you look at the Vikings on offense, you look at Dalvin Cook and what they have been able to do in the run game, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's a dynamic running back, and I think he's really taken his game to the next level. So, I mean, he's clearly our focal point. Number one focal point going into the game. I like the way they're playing. On offense, they've been really committed to the 2-back run game, and it has really served them well since their bye week. So, really, throughout their whole football team, this is a team that's playing with a lot more confidence than it was early in the season. They went through a tough injury phase, and they've bounced back very well. And I was impressed with them on Monday Night Football against Chicago.
You don't see very many teams in this league using a fullback as much as the Vikings do. I think C.J. Ham, the fullback, had 35 snaps in the game against Chicago. What are you seeing, though, the improvement in the run defense from your defense here since the Cleveland game going back last month?
Well, I mean, that's a great comparable because the systems are very very similar. You have the wide zone, the inside zone, and Gary Kubiak's done it at such a high level forever in this league. So, and that will be the challenge. We anticipate that, obviously, the run game in the boots and keeps, the action game that comes off of that. So, our run defense really took a step forward the last 2 weeks, but we need to take a big step in Minneapolis on Sunday.
Kirk Cousins, a guy, what leaps off the page, the stat sheet to me when I look at the Vikings as far as their pass game goes is 8.8 yards an attempt to lead the league. And you talk about the way they're throwing the ball off that run game, they are going downfield with the football.
Oh, definitely. I mean, their movement pass game is really good. And obviously benefits from the excellent run game, but their ability to push the ball down the field, they have a dynamic receiving group, so it's a team that's really picked up, and you can see they've really come into comfort with the way they've played, particularly the last 3 games.
And of course, they got the rookie receiver in Justin Jefferson out of LSU, averaging 18 yards a catch, and Adam Thielen. How big is it, though, getting Cheeto Awuzie back, and how much do you think Cheeto benefited from having the extra week to get back?
It's great to have him back, number one, and I think he clearly benefited from the extra week. So looking forward to getting through the practice structure throughout the week, and it's great to have him out there.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T. Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Built for Texas. Built for you. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues now as we get you ready for the Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday afternoon. And now joining us as usual, David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsTodayDFW.com. And David, by the end of the night on Sunday night, the Cowboys could actually be a half game out of first place in the NFC East as the Eagles go to Cleveland. And, of course, the Cowboys playing at Minnesota. It's crazy what is happening in this NFC East.
Well, this division really is through the looking glass this year. And really, whichever team wins in a given week, and usually only one of the teams wins in a given week, suddenly they become the favorite. There's only one game in the win column that separates the top from the bottom in this division on all four teams. And if you look at the final 7 games, or in the case of the Giants, who have only 6 games left, their bye is this week, far and away the easiest schedule left belongs to the Cowboys. The most difficult schedule remaining belongs to Philadelphia. So while the Eagles are on top at the moment at 3-5-1, when you look at their next 5 games, Cleveland is arguably the easiest opponent they have in the next 5. They have the Saints. They have, they just have they have Green Bay. They have some really difficult games here. And I really think that even though the Eagles are at the top of the division right now, it's hard to see them winning more than one. And that may be optimistic in these next 5 weeks. So I think this already unexpected and disappointing division is going to take some more twists and turns over these next 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, a great opportunity is still there for the 2-7 Cowboys, with Baltimore being the only winning team left on their schedule the final 7 games. All right, let's talk COVID protocols here, because the Cowboys are hunkering down, as are a lot of teams around the league are now, David.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are taking it one step further than most teams. My understanding is Jerry Jones was thinking about this even before they went into intensive protocol during the bye week after Vance McDonald, the Pittsburgh tight end, was found to be a positive test within just hours after playing the Cowboys. He wanted to see, he was following the dramatic surge in cases locally in Dallas. He was aware of the holidays coming up and how that is an event that is vulnerable, as Dr. Alan Sills, the chief medical officer of the NFL, has said. And so Jerry Jones and the organization has taken the step of putting up all staff members who have direct contact with the players. They have been put up at the Omni Hotel adjacent to the practice facility. And Jerry Jones has taken it one step further. He understands that this is an inconvenience to staff, but he is also willing to set up availability and pay for COVID tests for family members of staff that come in during Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays to visit staff members. So there's no firm timetable in place, is my understanding, but all indications are that the football operations staff will be at the hotel adjacent to the practice facility for the remainder of the regular season.
All right, David Moore, Cowboys doing all they can to make sure they can play the last 7 games of this season. We appreciate it, David. And coming up here on the Mike McCarthy Show, we take a look at perhaps the most underrated player on the Cowboys special teams.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star in Frisco. It's the Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings Sunday afternoon in Minnesota. And Rob Phillips now takes a look at one of the unsung heroes on this Cowboys team.
Look closer at this 2-7 start to the season, and the Dallas Cowboys do have some bright spots. Look even closer past the offense, past the defense, and you'll find the Cowboys' most underrated player this season. His name is C.J. Goodwin, special teams ace. Goodwin's contributions might go unnoticed to casual fans. The fifth-year cornerback has not played a single defensive snap this season. Goodwin has played over 75% of the special team snaps, most on the team. He has 7 tackles on kickoff and punt coverage, most on the team. He's made solid and spectacular plays for a group that had its best game against Pittsburgh just before the bye week. In the second quarter, Goodwin showed off his acting chops, faking a hamstring pull as he got in position for a trick play. A lateral pass across the field from punt returner Cedric Wilson, Music City Miracle style.
And now the Cowboys are making a special teams play.
The result, a 73-yard return by Goodwin, setting up a Greg Zuerlein field goal for a 13-0 lead. And don't forget the single biggest heads-up play of the 2020 season. In the Cowboys' Week 2 comeback win over Atlanta, Goodwin recovered Zuerlein's onside kick while several Falcons players stood and watched.
The Cowboys have it. Do you believe that?
But what he's meant to our team, first of all, just as a player on the field, has been, undeniable. He's fast, he's tough, he's so versatile, and he means a lot to our team and a ton to our special teams. And I love the guy, and I'm super proud of him, and I think there's a lot more to come where this has come from as far as production in the future.
Undrafted in 2014, Goodwin bounced around the NFL before joining the Cowboys in 2018. He's been a key contributor on special teams ever since. And the Cowboys need as much help from every area of the roster to hang around this NFC East race. For DallasCowboys.com, I'm Rob Phillips.
All right, thanks, Rob. Up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, it's our regular segment with Will McClay, brought to you by WinStar, as Will breaks down some of the top playmakers on this Vikings team.
We're going to take a look at 2 offensive players for the Vikings, Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, and 1 defensive player, Harrison Smith, to see what we contend with this week. They're in 22 personnel, and you count the numbers. They're going to run the ball to this side over here, and you look at the numbers. They have the Detroit Lions outnumbered by play design and a shift. So now you'll see it, pin, pull. Now, breaks 1 tackle, and they had 8 guys in the box and nobody in the second level. And again, it's a big chunk play. He outruns the secondary. Now we're going to take a look at Justin Jefferson and the benefit from the run game. They run the ball so well. So they're going to be in 21 personnel, run heavy formation. They're going to go play action. The linebackers are going to drive, and there's going to be a double move here by Jefferson and a great throw by the quarterback. Hard move inside, takes the DB in, has leverage, wide open space, good throw, all driven by play action. All right, we're going to take another look at play action. They're going to be in 21. They're going to go play action. Jefferson's here in a reduced split. Play action is going to drive the linebackers up. It's going to leave a void there with a single high safety, and Jefferson's going to take advantage of it. Play action. Man coverage. He's got the angle on him. Again, a deep throw, and then it's the run after the catch from the rookie that has him among the top rookie receivers. Now we're going to take a look at Harrison Smith as a blitzer. Great design here. There's 6 protectors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential rushers. The back is going to slide over and take the linebacker. You know the center has this linebacker with the A-gap mug, so Smith takes advantage of it with timing and speed. Looks like he's covering the tight end, but he's going to blitz on the inside A-gap. There we go. Now he's going to time it up perfectly. He sees the back looking over there, times it up perfectly. Pressure, incompletion. That was a look at 2 offensive guys we have to contend with and 1 defensive player in our game against Minnesota this week.
Thanks, Will. Up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, the head coach rejoins us, and we take an up-close look at Mike Zimmer's Vikings defense. The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues now. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios, rejoined by Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, taking on a Minnesota team, of course, that you've been very familiar with through the years when you were coaching the Packers, and a lot of matchups with Mike Zimmer, the Vikings head coach, over a 5-year period when you went up against him. What do you always expect out of a Mike Zimmer defense?
Well, I mean, clearly they're going to play you really fundamentally sound and normal down and distance, and then third down is where Mike likes to spend a lot of time, is, particularly with his pressure package. He's going to roll those pressures at you, and it's something that he's done at a very high level. Frankly, competing against Mike in Minnesota, obviously he was at Cincinnati, Atlanta, all the way back to his days in Dallas. So I've always enjoyed competing against him because he's so aggressive as a defensive play caller.
Andy Dalton got back on the practice field to start this week after missing 3 weeks in COVID protocol, concussion protocol. How nice is it to have the option of being able to use a quarterback that has 135 starts in his career?
Well, I mean, it's just great to have Andy back, period. I mean, he's definitely just one of the great guys, and it was a little comical when he first stepped in the huddle at the beginning of the week, where he kind of reintroduced himself because he's been gone for a couple of weeks. But no, he's a great fit for us. Not only in the locker room but the quarterback room, and just really looking forward to getting going back with Andy.
You look at the wide receivers and the fact that you've used 4 different starting quarterbacks over a 5-week period. Just getting those practice reps, how big is that, and how difficult is it for a quarterback to get on the same page with receivers when he hasn't been out there for so long?
I mean, it's clearly one of the biggest challenges. I mean, the biggest challenge is really the communication. Make sure that's tight. Especially when you're playing against a defense that challenges the way that Minnesota will. But yeah, that's really was the first order of business for us, frankly, offensively, on Monday, was to get the quarterbacks together with the receivers and get through. Just try to get back some timing that obviously was lost the last couple of weeks with Andy.
Specifically, I want to ask you about Dalton Schultz. Of course, you lose Blake Jarwin in the first game of the season, and Dalton really has made the most of his opportunity this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I really like the way Dalton plays. I mean, he's very, very intelligent player. Always asks good questions. You saw that back in training camp. So, and you can't say enough about what he's done with his opportunity. I mean, he's been very steady and just always looking to improve. But he's a very instinctive player. Really understands space and just has an excellent feel in the passing game.
The Vikings defense, like you, they've lost some guys, Daniil Hunter, Anthony Barr, but they do have a guy at safety in Harrison Smith you're very familiar with. He's made the Pro Bowl his last 5 years, has 3 picks this year. What is it about Harrison Smith that you have to be aware of going into this game?
I mean, Harrison's a big-time player. I don't think he gets enough credit. Obviously he's been voted to the Pro Bowl now multiple times, but he was someone that's always been a focal point when you play the Vikings. His ability to make plays on the ball, but his disguise, his anticipation, of running pass by formation. I mean, he's a heck of a football player. He's one of those players that you really appreciate when you have a chance to compete against time and time again, and have a lot of respect for his game.
All right, we wrap up this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show when we come back in just a moment. Final couple of minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. And Coach McCarthy, you had the bye week last week, and people question, okay, when's the best time to have a bye week? I would think when you're going into a week where you've got 2 games in the span of 5 days, 3 games in the span of 12 days, that was probably a pretty good time to have a bye week. Were you able during that bye week as a coaching staff not only to prepare for this game, but also getting set for Washington on Thursday? Of course, a team that you've already played this year.
Oh, definitely. We spent a bunch of time on South Scott. That's really where the majority of our time was spent, because I think it's like anything. You always got to continue to clean your own house, and that's really the priority. I think we may sometimes put too much into what the other guys doing, the opponent. And the fact that we are playing Washington for a second time, I think is helpful. So I've always believed in when you do have that time is how do you make yourself better. So that's really where the majority of our time was spent.
All right, it's a great opportunity that the team has over the course of the next couple of weeks. Good luck in Minnesota on Sunday afternoon, Coach.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
And we appreciate all of you joining us here for the Mike McCarthy Show. We will see you again next week.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Built for Texas, built for you. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.